Hey guys, my name is Scott Brown. I have a new channel called Flip Your Capital, and this is where I teach you how to be a private money lender and how you can do this as a side hustle and you can make a six-figure part-time income. So today I'm going to talk about showing you two ways that you can make $25,000 or more per loan that you do. So let's get to it. This is my family. My wife and I just celebrated 25 years on April 15th. We live in Mesa, Arizona, and this is our two daughters, our adult daughters. I know they may not look like it, but this one's graduated college and this one is well in her way into dental hygiene. So Jessica and Courtney. So anyway, quick disclaimer is I'm not licensed to sell securities. I'm not offering security. I'm not an attorney, and I'm not a CPA. So if you need professional legal advice, go get that. That's not what I offer. I am a licensed mortgage loan originator, and for the last 27 years, I've worked as a loan officer or mortgage broker. I currently have my license with a mortgage banker. I'm licensed in Arizona and California, but they're licensed in all 50 states and can do loans anywhere that you might need a loan. And especially if you're looking for a no-cost loan, let me know and I can help you get the lowest prices on that if you're interested. All right. And so I want to just point out that the price of opportunity is risk. Yes, there is risk in what we do. Every loan we fund carries some level of risk, but you need to know that lending laws favor the lender. And if they didn't, that the biggest banks wouldn't have the tallest skyscrapers and they wouldn't have branches on every major intersection. So if you're interested in learning about being a co-lender on real estate deals, or you want to start your own six-figure private money lending side hustle, you've come to the right place. I'm going to show you how to do this. Let's go. All right, so I've been in this space for 27 years. I've been a part of a couple thousand transactions. You can look at this slide if you like, but in the interest of time, just know I've done a lot of deals through the years. All right, so I have a Facebook group called Flip Your Capital. You ought to join that group, and there you can learn and earn. And so it's an invitation only group. So you need to go ahead and click that QR code and ask to be invited into the group, and then I can let you in, and then we can teach you what it is to be a co-lender. And basically we do the work and we split profits with you. So we find good deals, we analyze them, and then we split them with you. And there's a larger QR code if that's helpful. You just put your camera up to that. A little yellow icon will pop up, click it, and you can click that, it'll take you straight to the group. I'm running this the way Alex Hermosi has proven to run his businesses. If you don't know him, he's a young guy. He's like 35 years old. He's made over $100 million teaching people how to launch gyms and then how to launch their own businesses and online. And so he has some awesome information. And he says that secret is to give away the secrets and then sell the implementation. In other words, give away the best stuff you have and gain trust and credibility with people that way, which is what my approach is today. And so people don't pay for information, they pay for a transformation. And so what I'm going to do is show you all the hard fought lessons that I learned the hard way, and I'm just going to give it to you in the hopes that maybe we could do some business together. So here we go. So my story is that the last 10 years I spent as a mortgage broker, basically brokering loans. And we did 600 fix and flip loans, and we did a couple hundred rental loans. And I was lucky to make $2,500 a check. It was a lot of work. I was chasing borrowers at any given time. We had 15 to 20 loans in our pipeline, and we were being constantly shopped for who has the lowest rate and lowest fee. And absence of value, people look at price. And so you have to find a way to offer value, and then price goes out the window. And so that's what we discovered. It took me a lot to figure this out, and I'm going to share it with you. So today I partner with co-lenders, and we target deals that pay us $25,000 or more, or we don't do it. And we don't chase, we don't beg, and there's no rate and fee shoppers, because we only have so much money to put out on the streets. And because of that, we get people lining up waiting to do deals with us. I have people lined up right now ready to do deals. So if you have capital, we ought to talk, and you ought to let me show you how this works. If by the time this presentation is done, if you have more questions, just set up a time and be happy to go through the details with you. And so this is the story of my transformation, and it can be yours too. So here we go. So what I believe that we need to focus on is, how do you get to a blue ocean strategy? A blue ocean strategy is meaning you eliminate competition, that the value is so high that people don't have to ask for price. If they have to ask for price, they're not your customer. And so there was a guy named Peter that taught me how he ran his business. And one day I was frustrated because we were flipping 4 homes and it just wasn't going well. I was frustrated with contractors. They weren't reliable and went up, and it was just a mess. And I said to him, how do you do this? And he said, you need to structure your business the way I do it. You're working way too hard. And so I said, how do you do it? And this is when he told me that he had made $30 million in net profit in just 8 years. And so how does that work is what we're going to be talking about. And so what happens here, as the broker, you get constant rate shoppers because you don't offer any value, and there's endless phone calls of people. You got to process the paperwork, and it's just a lot of work that you have to do to make that money. Whereas being a profit share private money lender, it's a lot different. The borrowers come to you. They happily pay your fees. You can earn up to $25,000 plus on one loan. The deal feels like you're funding 10 brokered loans as far as a payday, but it's the work of less than maybe half of one brokered loan. It's pretty awesome when you make that transition. And so you go from being stressed and not feeling valued to having chill vibes, high margins. It becomes easy peasy breezy, and you're on the beach. And it's not a job, it's a lifestyle business. And so those are the things that we all want. So how do we get it? And I love this saying that it's not good enough to want something, you have to know how to get it. And that's what I'm going to show you. And so what thriving as a private money lender really looks like is that if you can create your own lane where the competition becomes irrelevant, you can dictate the terms, you don't negotiate. You just tell them how it is. Either they want to do it or they don't. You become the go-to lender for just a few borrowers because your speed, your unique terms, and the real value you offer far exceed rates and fees. And then you can transform your business to go from making $2,500 like me to making $25,000 like Peter per deal. So one profit share loan is equal to 10 brokered loans. So you end up with big paydays. You get total control. You get to decide who you're doing business with. So I want to tell you a quick story about the gold rush of 1849. There were 300,000 people who rushed to mine for gold in California. And because of the year 1849, they became known as the 49ers, and that stuck. So we know, like the San Francisco 49ers. But the first millionaire on record that we know of is a guy by the name of Samuel Brannan. And Samuel never mined for gold a day in his life. Instead, what he did is he sold the picks, the pans, the shovels, the food, the clothing, and he made a fortune doing it. And so what was his secret? So his fortune came from perfect timing. He saw an opportunity. There were 300,000 people converging on this one area. And he was looking and saw a smart strategy to solve a problem. These miners needed supplies. And like we say, money follows value. So he provided convenience. The closest store was 150 miles away. And so he was able to sell his products at a premium price. And people paid it because he was the only option. And it was the way that they could get into business. And so as private money lenders, we solve big problems for investors. We offer speed, we offer flexibility, and we offer unique value with our strategy or our approach. And so like Brannan, we get paid in 4 different ways. Like he had multiple items for sale in his store. Well, we had multiple ways to get paid. Whereas the fix and flipper or the real estate agent or the mortgage broker, they hope to get paid one payday like the miners with their gold. And so how do we get paid? We get paid 4 different ways. We get points. It's usually 5 points or $5,000. loan fees are $1,200 to $1,500. That's for underwriting, processing, servicing. All of the major banks charge these fees, so why don't we charge those fees? There's interest rate spread. So the banks get their money at a one rate and then they loan it out at another. And so we do the same thing as the bank. We borrow the money as from the co-lenders at 10%, and then we loan it out at 15. And so what happens is we create an interest rate spread. So there's 5% interest. So if we put $1 million out on the street, there's 50,000 of income. It's like a base pay. If you put 2 million out, which is not a big number, it sounds big, but it just isn't. That's $100,000 in interest spread. And if you put 3 million, it's 150. The point is you get paid those three ways, but then you get profit participation. You get 50% of whatever profits we negotiate. So if we get 10 to 20,000 in back end profits, half of that goes to our co-lenders. And so what ends up happening is money follows value, and there's big paydays associated with that. And what I did is I've created this little ebook. It was the blueprint that Peter taught me. It was how he made $30 million in 8 years. And so as a mentor, he proved to me that when you lead with value, that there is big money that follows. And so you can download this ebook if you like with this QR code. Just put your camera on it and a yellow box will pop up, and click that and it'll lead you to a link to download it. And basically his model is he started with nothing. He borrowed the first $40,000 that he put into a private money loan. He had a co-lender loan the money. It was none of his own money, and he built a $30 million empire in just 8 years. And what he did is he put the money out at 15 to 18% interest, charged 5 points, and charged 25 to 50% of the back end profits. And you're like, who in the world would pay that? Well, when you understand the value that he was offering with 100% financing, all of a sudden he went and he found people that had the skills, like contractors, builders, and people that did like the BRRRR method, buy, rehab, rent, refinance, etc. And it's like the co-lenders that put the money up to do this, it's like renting out your money. You get double-digit returns. So on our fix and flip loans, it's interest only with 100% of the principal is repaid. And on our rental property loans, they're amortized with payments that include both principal and interest. But we'll go through this more in detail when you join our group and you learn, you come. There's just a lot more, to go over, and you see case studies and things that we're doing. So on a rental property investor loan, what if you could offer 100% funding in exchange for points, fees, interest spread, and create a profit participation with a target of 25,000 or more? Well, here's a traditional loan on the left where somebody has to put 25% down and they get 75% financing. And this were our affordable homes like the Southeast or the Midwest. Southeast like Mississippi, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, Louisiana. There's homes that people purchase for $60,000. I just did a loan, and these are the closing docs right here that just got in on a loan we did. But so they purchase it for 60, they put 20 in it, they have closing costs with the traditional lender of $5K, so their total loan is $85, and they put 25% down, or $21,250, and they end up with a loan amount of $63,750 at an 8.5% interest rate for 30 years, and they have basically a $500 a month payment with taxes, insurance, so they're about $690 to $700, and then the market rents are $1,200, and they end up with $509 in profit every month. Well, that's one way, but remember, they got to put this $21,000 down, and that's not easy for people to save up. It takes people usually 2 to 3 years to save it up. So what if we could do the Bobsy way? And the Bobsy way is you give them 100% financing, but you have to know them, you have to like them, and you have to trust them. You cannot just do this with anybody. This, like the saying is, bet on the jockey, not the horse. And so this is somebody you have a relationship with. But you only need a handful of these guys that want to grow their portfolio for you to have an amazing business. So don't worry about having to find them. So Same thing, purchase price 60, rehab 20, closing costs 5K, total loan is 85, interest rate is 10 instead of 8.5 because we're giving them 100% funding, 30-year term, and their payment is 745 plus taxes and insurance, so they're 945. Their market rents are 1,200, and their profit is 254 a month instead of the 500, and so they're making $255 less a month, but they have zero out of pocket. But there's a catch, and here's the catch. So the way that we do this is with the traditional loan at 8.5 interest and 5,000 in points, that borrower saves 21,000 they didn't have to put down, and we provide the 100% of the funding for them. So we raise the interest rate to 10%, and then we drop it to 7. This is where it gets tricky and where the opportunity is, and so you got to pay attention here. So basically, we're giving them they were okay with a 10% interest rate, but instead of giving them a 10%, we're going to drop it to 7, and we're going to keep the monthly payment the same. When you keep the monthly payment the same, what ends up happening is the loan balance increases, and that's where the opportunity is. So the loan balance goes from 85 to 112,000, which creates a loan discount of 27,000, or a profit in the deal of 27,000. Remember, I told you we're trying to make at least 25K. Well, there it is, 27. But if you come over here, we get to add in our 5,000. So we're really making 32,000 to do this deal and we have an interest rate of 7%. So here's our return. It's 32,000 at 7%. That's $213 a month for 360 months. So the lifetime value of that note is $77,000. And we did that by adding high value. And if you don't quite get it here, don't worry about it. You can message me, I'll go through it and I'll help you get it. But once you get this, it's life-changing. It's life-changing for the person buying homes because they can buy as many as they want. And it's life-changing for us is because we make this discount. And you're like, well, who would be dumb enough to do this? And what you need to understand is that there's a lot of factors that are going into this loan, meaning the lenders don't like these low loan amounts, so it's tough to find a lender. And then you have to put 25% down, which is a real high hurdle for people to jump. And so what we do is we come in and we solve those problems by being their lender, and we create a discount by they're going to keep that loan anyway. They're going to keep it for years and years and years. Well, if they're going to keep it for years and years and years, they can keep our loan for years and years and years. And so for them, it's the same. If they keep this loan for 15 years or whatever, they're going to pay the same amount of interest that they would have paid if they had the 10% interest. Obviously, this is based on a 30-year amortization, but you get the idea. All right, and so why would someone be a co-lender with us? It's because of safety, security. They can get short-term and long-term loans. They get monthly cash flow. This is tough to get. Monthly cash flow, there's very few places that give you monthly cash flow that are consistent and backed by a hard asset. Show me any other investment that you can get monthly cash flow that's backed by a hard asset. I don't know of any. A high rate of return, double-digit capital growth. Remember, we're sharing the profits that we make. We're splitting that $32,000 with our co-lenders. It's good for them and it's good for us. And so what we say to people is, who else wants a 6-figure private money lending side hustle with monthly cash flow and lifestyle to match to go with all these beach items? You got your beach shirt, the palm tree, the coconut, and the umbrella. So this is your beach money. So if this makes sense for you, we'd love to talk to you and see if we can do some deals together. Again, the way to get in touch with me is you could join our group called Flip Your Capital. It's a step-by-step guide on how to do it. You can be a co-lender. It's all done for you, or we can teach you how to do it yourself. Remember, we find the contractor, and the loan, and we analyze and underwrite the loan, and then we split the deal 50-50. And here's my contact info. Yes, that's my direct cell phone number. Reach out to me, text me. Let's set up a time to talk, and let's see if we can do some business together. Thanks, and bye for now.